Hello. You are joining us at a later date. There will be timestamps down below letting you know when the stream starts and everything that we talk about for the evening. Just going to wait a moment here and let some people hop into the chat and we'll get going. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for joining us. Um, we stream every day, if not more, and just try to cover hard topics. But just gonna wait for a few people to hop in, and we'll get going here. We got a lot of things to talk about today. Once again, timestamps for everything will be linked below in the description for when the stream starts and such. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. And like I said, we will get started here soon. Just going to chill out, wait for some people to hop into the chat. It's not a big channel, so sometimes it takes a couple minutes. But once again, timestamps will be linked down below after the stream to let you know when everything starts. Oh, it's one of those days. Just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. A little biscuit for you. Throw something on in the background at least. I mean, sitting here in silence. Keep listening to this.
And then when the RNC happened, you had some journalists, but I doubt regular, like traditional liberals watched or cared. But hey, some people also pointing out that it's because Trump supporters wanted to watch online. And I think that's a fair point too, because we were watching the RNC, and at first we were watching on PBS.
Yeah.
And all they did was like interject to rag on Trump.
The commentary was awful.
Yeah, and they had that lady, what's her name, Yamiche, I think, where she
hey, landscaper, thanks for joining us. We'll get started here in just 1 second. Just letting some people hop in the chat, and then we'll get going.
He's paraplegic. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, he can't stand, and he managed to do it. He's making light of the people.
You're right. So Madison Cawthorn stands for his speech at the RNC, and it's like a huge effort because he's paralyzed.
Yeah, he stood for the Pledge of Allegiance.
For the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah. And then this woman from PBS says that he's like doing it as like a slight against all those who would kneel, and I'm like, he's standing up because like he's showing that he believes it's like it's not a slight against you. He's just standing up. I don't get it. It's like
it's important.
It's inspirational.
Yeah.
But she's giving commentary during the RNC, and all she was doing was like making like just lying. And they had one guy on who like did the verified people votes.
Yep, they kicked off strong with that.
So I was just like, yeah. I turned on C-SPAN.
Yeah, it was way better. I think that C-SPAN is
okay. C-SPAN. Got the Rona. Alrighty. Well, let's just get started. Hello. My name's Elder. Welcome back to another episode of The Open Debate, which is just a segment I like to do here on the channel where we get together for hard discussions, hard conversations, and, discuss it in the chat. And, no subject is off limits. This is a hub for free speech while we still can have it. If you're new to the channel, thanks for joining. If you're not, thank you for being here. You'll see in the chat, Landscaper1975, thanks for joining us. Spanish Fly, Lee Mills, thanks for being here. We're going to get started with a little bit of an update on the whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation. If you haven't seen, he's been charged with a bunch of different, a bunch of different charges have been laid against the kid. He's being held in a juvenile detention center. But really, there's not much new information that's coming out so far. I just really wanted to touch on how the media is trying to frame this individual. They're trying as hard as they can to make him look as though he is a terrible individual, I guess, but the only information they really have to go on is that he was a Trump supporter and that he loved the police. He also knew how to use firearms and had an interest in firearms. So I'm going to pull this up. This is from the Daily, or what is it called? Something Herald. Something Herald. Who cares? I think that the clip's from CNN. So CNN's Drew Griffin looks into the social media footprint of 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, who is facing multiple homicide charges stemming from a shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So interesting. Let's see what they have to say about it, and then we will discuss in the chat below.
Kyle Rittenhouse appears to be a want-to-be cop, a former youth police cadet whose social media posts include support for police, referencing Blue Lives Matter, and including a post on his birthday in 2018, asking friends to donate to a nonprofit called Humanizing the Badge in lieu of gifts. On the night of the shooting, he posted video to his own Snapchat from the protest areas. You can briefly see the rifle he's carrying. A short time later, chaos erupts. Footage appears to show a man who seems to match Rittenhouse from the earlier video.
It seems to be him. Can't be 100% sure.
Struck by protesters, then turns his gun and fires.
Yeah, we all know what happened.
As one victim lies on the street, the gunman stands up, walks away. When it's over, 2 people are dead, 1 seriously injured. The gunman casually walks away, holds his hands over his head as police seem to ignore him and the gun slung across his chest, even as protesters identify him. Rittenhouse surrendered to police Wednesday in his hometown of Antioch, Illinois, about 20 miles away. He faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, but police are saying little else.
We know that there are still people out there, instigators, that are trying to cause trouble and fire things up.
At a news conference Thursday, officials gave no additional details on the shootings that took place during Tuesday night's protest, and also failed to answer a single question about Jacob Blake, the man shot 7 times in the back by Kenosha police.
Any explanation?
Kyle Rittenhouse's online profile show an affinity for guns. There's a video of him shooting targets, another assembling what appears to be a semi-automatic assault rifle. His TikTok bio shows he's a supporter of Donald Trump 2020, and he apparently attended a Trump rally in late January.
This president doesn't breathe. This president gets it done.
Posting a video that showed he was in the very front row. Court records show when he was in middle school, Kyle Rittenhouse's mother claimed he was bullied so badly, she asked the court for a restraining order against one of his classmates. It didn't happen because neither party showed up for court. Kyle Rittenhouse is being held in juvenile detention in Lake County, Illinois' Juvenile Detention Center on a fugitive warrant. He faces extradition hearing Friday morning. See if he will be sent back to Wisconsin to face now 6 criminal charges.
So, as you can see, the only, I don't know, it was strange in the end there. They decided to bring up the fact that in middle school he was bullied, I guess. So that must mean that he had an affinity for violence because he had a vengeance, I guess. He had something to prove. But he was a Trump supporter, Blue Lives Matter supporter. He wanted to become a police officer. He knew how to use a rifle. He had an interest in guns. Must be a terrorist, right? I don't know. Like those don't seem like very incriminating things to me. But I wonder how you guys feel. Lee says that he was underage and should not have been there. His parents should have known better. I respect giving the young man his freedom, but they let him get into a war zone unexperienced. And yeah, the whole thing is that it's an interesting situation, right? If depending on how you felt, if they're strong in their convictions and they all feel like they're doing the right thing, younger men than him have gone off to war, right? And so, but yeah, his mom drove him there. They enabled him to engage in these activities, and I mean, we're not engaged in an actual war. You're just putting yourself into this situation, and so. What do you do, right? Are these the individuals who are at the forefront of standing up for liberty, or are these people who are overreacting and taking things into their own hands? We're going to start the stream off by watching a few few of the videos that surfaced throughout the past night, because new things happen each and every day. And we're going to go ahead and just see what's been happening in the protests and the riots throughout the United States. And we'll start off the stream with those videos, because after that, we're going to get into a little bit of a deep dive of a situation that I think we're all interested in. But Spanish Fly says, bullying victims suffer from PTSD. Do you think that plays a part? No one is talking about mental illness when this happens. And that's the whole thing. I 100% believe that mental illness is a huge problem within Western society, and I think that it plays a huge role in mass shootings and a lot of violent situations that happen with the public. Even when you see like the thing that happened with George Floyd and perhaps Jacob Blake, who knows? Like these people probably have a lot of issues. This young man as well, perhaps like anxiety and fear or PTSD from being bullied, right? But I don't feel like this kid went out and committed like a mass shooting. He didn't go. It didn't feel like he went out aiming, trying to shoot at people. If you've seen the video that we just watched, he's running away. These people didn't let him run away, and they were. I've said this to anyway. What do you guys think? If he had have just let them catch up to him, would he be alive right now? Would Kyle Rittenhouse be alive if those individuals had have caught him? Yes or no? How do you guys feel? Landscaper for 1975 says, has anyone talked about this kid's skill with a gun? As far as I know, he didn't hit anyone who wasn't a threat to him. He hit 3 of them in scary conditions, John Wick style. And that's the whole thing. Like I noticed that people are saying, like, yeah, he seemed to be trained with the gun. All I can say is he shot at the one guy, I guess, that they kicked him in the head, missed that guy, shot the dude that hit him in the head with a skateboard. But think about this, he was just hit in the head with a skateboard, so like who even knows what happened there, but he was just hit in the head with a skateboard, and the other dude was like flying over top of him. And the third dude stood up, put his hands up, lunged at him, but he had the opportunity. He could have shot him right in the chest, but instead he shot him in the arm. Was that on purpose? I don't know. I wasn't there, but it's an interesting thought. All right, guys, let's get into these videos. We're gonna start off with one of Proud Boys showing up to a rally in Denver, Colorado, to the surprise of the old Antifa boys, and we'll see how things play out.
So they're definitely forming a line. There's CSCAP. You ran out of CO2 again. Back at them. More CF gas.
So it looks like this is Antifa throwing stuff at the police with their press uniforms.
Oh, so there's an extremist group behind us. They're behind the protesters.
There's an extremist group that just showed up that aren't the protesters. You mean the protesters aren't the extremist group?
Alright, so things just. Alright, this is ridiculous. So, this is the Proud Boy group.
Seems like they're getting a little intimidated when somebody shows up to counter their actions.
These guys are all armed. They're carrying.
Hey,
Now they're yelling for the police to intervene. So nothing really happened there. There was no clash. I thought there'd be a clash. I haven't seen these videos, but nothing really happened there. But what I always find interesting is the fact that these Antifa and Black Lives Matter individuals, they'll be sitting there. You saw the beginning of the video, they're tossing shit at the police, yelling profanities, and then they'll turn around and be like, "They have weapons. Police, please help. Go over. You should get them. What are you doing? The police aren't doing anything. They aren't helping us." Yeah, it's just it's one of the most baffling things to me. Just a bad penny said he had it pointed at Kyle's head when Kyle shot him in the arm. Bicep Boy's friend even said that his only regret was not hesitating instead of emptying on Kyle. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday on stream. We pulled up the screenshots, and like I said, not 100% sure if it's real. Came from Andy Knows Twitter, and I'm trusting him to have done the research because I trust him as a journalist. And if it isn't true, I'm sure it will come out that it wasn't true. Seen a lot of people trying to say that the first dude that was a registered sex offender, Rosenbaum, that it's not on the registry anymore. And then people are saying that, oh, they're just lying, yada, yada, yada. Individuals have said that it's because he's deceased, he was taken off. So apparently he isn't on there anymore in Wisconsin, but he is still on the sex registry in Arizona. Donut operator. Once again, trust the guy to do the due diligence, pulled it up on stream, showed that it was still up in Arizona. And so, I don't believe that's fake news. So I'm just putting that out there. Y'all should do your own research, though. Once again, all these videos are coming from Lasse Burholt. Really cool channel. Uploads a lot of raw clips of things that are happening throughout the United States. So if you haven't checked out his channel, I would recommend going checking it out and giving it a little sub. But we'll get into the next video. Rioters ramming Denver PD fence with a dumpster. Just a normal protesting act. Just getting peppered. So I guess that just seems like a normal protest.
Why am I ordering to go that way? Fuck you! Get the fuck out of my country!
And then when they get arrested, they ask, "Why am I being arrested? What did I do?"
This house doesn't own fucking houses. They don't own fucking houses. Yeah, fuck you. Thank you for your support. Fuck you, you alt-right motherfucker. Fuck you. Just start fucking house. You're fucking crashing me like fucking house. Go. No. Fuck that shit. This is fucked up. Thank you.
I think you should be a little bit more upset that people are protesting outside of stuff. I mean, that's the only reason there's tear gas in the area. And is his house that tent over there? Right, it's like, you all need to get the fuck out. We're gonna tear gas you. And they're like, nah, we're just gonna hang out here. Interesting. yeah, just another peaceful piece of protesting peacefully. It's just I don't know. I bring up these clips because these are supposed to be the protests that are happening each and every day around the country. And if you're a Black Lives Matter supporter, you must support the protests that are happening, don't you? I know that a lot of the people that are here in the chat probably disagree with what's happening, but speak your mind while you still can. If you want to help support the channel, always share, like. I think liking the videos makes it more shareable. But if you share the videos to your friends, that always gets the word out a little bit more. And let me take the brunt of the anger from them. I'll say the things you don't want to say. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty wild to see these people out here in the streets acting like buffoons each and every night, continuously bringing down whatever message they're supposed to be promoting. And how do you stop it now? It's on a roll. Like, these people are emboldened. Like what was just said in the chat a while back, these extremists are emboldened by the elite mainstream press and the political corporate oligarchs. And it's true. These individuals are propped up by the mainstream media, put on a pedestal, up on display for everybody to admire and call heroes. Literally calling the individuals who attacked Kyle Rittenhouse heroes. Like, that's literally what's happening right now. Life is wild. We're going to keep going. I guess this is a chaotic situation in Raleigh, North Carolina, as Black Lives Matter riots are starting to take off. Let's see what's good. So this is in North Carolina. I mean, I don't know how long that's going to last there, but I mean, is it? Is North Carolina a super progressive Black Lives Matter supporting place, or is this just life now? Oh, these people are nuts. Like, and you're gonna tell me that you're gonna all dress the same all across the U.S. and that's not an organization, that's not a gang? So, what's the deal? What do you think? Is that so you think that you can wear the same uniform, just a black mask and all black clothes, riot gear, whatever you can get your hands on throughout the entire United States and not be considered an organization of some sort, a gang, if not an organization at the very least. Vanilla ISIS, just a bad penny says. Yeah, it's an interesting thing where you already have individuals saying that Kyle Rittenhouse was part of a gang, if you will. And, as soon as individuals come out on the streets, they're considered an armed militia. But all of the individuals who have been out previous to this have not. They don't need to be armed with. They don't need to be armed with deadly weapons. They're still armed with weapons in general, and I would still consider them militias. Antifa, in general. Is that not a faction that is like, it's a literal militant faction against the government? I don't know how else to say that one, but I don't know. Maybe y'all feel different. When we get to the next video here, let's keep the ball rolling. Attempted attack on cop in his vehicle while DC citizens are accosted and harassed by Black Lives Matter rioters. All right, these are your protests. These are your peaceful protests.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Trying to get into the police car.
Don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it.
Like, don't do what? Don't do what? Don't drive?
Hey! Who's running? I know your bitch ass ain't running. Get the fuck back here!
Like, what the hell is wrong? What do you mean? Like, these people are nuts, eh? They're just like, okay, don't do it. Don't do what? Don't continue to drive? Like, get the fuck out of the way. Get out of the road. I don't know. It's nuts.
Say that. Say it right. He's scared as fuck.
Yeah, because you're literally harassing people in the streets, trying to make them conform to your ideology. This is what we were talking about yesterday, and so it's like with the woman in the store who was surrounded. The old lady was surrounded by Black Lives Matter protesters trying to make her put her fist up. That's what somebody was saying. I didn't even realize what was happening. I don't know if that's what it was. The same as this. Buddy's sitting here in his car being like, listen to black voices, say it, say it. It's like, if you don't believe what they say and you don't bend the knee, then they'll literally harass you and accost you in the street. They'll beat you down. They'll take your life. Not to throw it into like a Christian standpoint, but these are just like things that were taught and I was raised upon, where it was like, there will be a time where you're persecuted for your beliefs, yada, yada, yada. Regardless of whether it's a religious belief or an ideology, these individuals are literally persecuting everybody for believing something different than them. They're literally like Islamic extremists. They're on the same part. They're doing the exact same fucking thing. They're wild. Thanks for joining us in the chat there, Dog Backwards, Time Raider, BLM Stinks, Spanish Fly, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, Rocky Desert Flower, Just a Bad Penny, everybody that came out, Chronologic, everybody chilling. Thanks for engaging and being part of the community. We're going to keep these videos going and keep the conversation happening.
You feel me? Hey, bro, hop out with us. Hop out with us. You're not getting through them. Just hop. Hey, if you hop out, you have a better chance. If you hop out, you got a chance.
If you join us, you have a chance. If you don't, you're dead. Look at these fucking tyrants. And then you see as it panned back around, there are people standing out there with in cop costumes with pig heads. Like, they're literally acting like this is a game. These individuals are literally what they think they're fighting. They are the problem. This is absolutely almost mind-boggling, but it's that's why I keep bringing these videos up and keep doing these streams, just because it's fun to. It's not fun, but it's interesting to put this perspective forward, a counter narrative, because there aren't enough voices out there countering the narrative of the mainstream. There are people out there who say things, but they don't get promoted because it's not the mainstream narrative, right? You ever heard of being punk? Counterculture, being against the grain. It doesn't seem like a lot of people have these days, but fuck it, we're doing our thing. I'm fucking firm in my convictions, and I'm holding to them. So this is a hill I'm willing to die on, for sure. Completely deranged demonstrators harassing RNC guests leaving the White House. So let's get it. Literally harassing old women and old men. And this isn't the first time. This has happened multiple times where they've harassed elderly people, literally beaten elderly people. I don't even understand how individuals can say that there is no violence on the left. Look at this. Does this young man look like look at this, a young man screaming and putting his middle fingers up in the face of an elderly woman? What a great society. What a great progressive new world they must be trying to promote. This is a world that I definitely want to live in. Yeah, we'll just keep rolling it real quick. White House guard had to protect a man being... I'm not even going to roll it yet. We're going to have to talk about that. That's not even the first time that we've seen something like this happen, where you have Black Lives Matter or Antifa individuals, radical leftists, screaming or harassing old women, young men usually as well. And it's interesting to see how unbelievably disrespectful and out of touch they must be to try to promote a world of equality and peace and love and be acting like this. Like, this is how you're trying to get me to join your side, by screaming at my grandmother? I mean, come on now, bud. You're looking to get beat down. I don't understand how everybody was standing around letting this person do that, even on their side. It's just unbelievable. What do you all got to say about that? I wonder what their parents think. It's an interesting question. I mean, if you go on my channel and look back to one of the first videos, the thumbnail of that video is a lady from a video about Evergreen State College, and it was a woman holding a sign that said "Proud Parent." Some of these individuals are absolutely out of their mind, and that's why their children are so screwed up. But some of them, I'm sure, don't agree. The man whose son got killed in Seattle, I hope he wins his lawsuit. I did see that dude, he filed a lawsuit against the state against Seattle, and yeah, he deserves something, because he deserves some sort of reconciliation over what happened there. What do you gotta say here? They knocked out an old man in Kenosha who was trying to stop a fire. Right? I would not put it past them. We just watched a dude. Oh my god! We just watched like a 20-year-old man scream in the face of an old lady. I don't even know what to say. We're gonna keep moving on, because it's just, nothing else to say other than it's despicable. There's no way to defend that person. I don't understand how there are individuals on his side standing around being like, "Yeah, good job, bud. Yeah, good job. You really got in the face of that fascist. Yeah, she was a Nazi bitch." But White House guards had to protect a man being cornered by demonstrators at the White House riot fence. Normal protesting tactics. This is how you change people's minds.
Like, yo, why y'all picking on this lady for nothing, bro?
Just harassing people in the street. It's like this person's working. Did you hear it beeping? If you get run over, that's on you. There's a beep on that damn truck. I hate these people. They always do this. Look at them standing there. They always look at this. They always stand there like pushing on the vehicle as though they're gonna stop the vehicle from moving, as though like they're physically gonna stop it from moving. That's how mentally inept these individuals are.
Oh, she wildin'. Oh, nigga, close on her. Yo, you wildin', bro. Yo, she dead shot. Get her out of there, bro. Come on. Yo, wildin'. Chill.
Comes out armed with her phone. I'm gonna get you on film. You lock me in there? And as you can see, here's one dude and all these individuals, their stupid hands up. So it's literally, they're like Islamic extremists. But the thing is, Islamic extremists are just ideological extremists. So that's exactly what these people are. They're ideological extremists. It's the exact same thing. Absolutely terroristic acts acting upon the public each and every day. For what, like 3 months? It's just wild. Like, actually wild. So, like I just said, absolutely wild extremists enacting extremist acts. They're literally terrorists, just out on the streets of America, taking over the streets of the United States and burning them down to replace them with nothing. They don't even have a full structure to replace it with. And that's really what I wanted to get into for the second half of this stream here. I wanted to go to the source. That's always the best way to get information, right? And so I figured we would go and take a deep dive into the old Black Lives Matter website itself and see what they have to say for themselves and what they claim to be promoting. Because, to be honest, I think it's quite surprising to see how, like what was just said in the chat, oddly enough, how manipulating it all is and how individuals they'll say one thing and do another. Just like the video we watched the other day when we watched Buddy hitting the dude in the back of the head with a skateboard, as on screen the mainstream media correspondent was saying, as all he did was try to grab the rifle from the guy with a picture of him smashing with a skateboard. It's just baffling. So, without further ado, let's just start getting into the website here. Got the old cover page here. It says, "Take action. Join the movement to fight for freedom, liberation, and justice by signing up for updates, supporting our work, and checking out our resources, following us on social media, or wearing our dope official gear, yo." All right, so take action by giving them money and getting their updates. No thanks. Either way, bunch of stuff. Defund the police, hashtag defund the police, sign the petition, no thanks. Rest in power, beautiful, for George Floyd. They love him. Obviously, it's Black Lives Matter. That's what they got to do. Thank you, player. They just have like a bunch of like, it's almost like a news outlet at this point, like right here. But I briefly looked over the website before starting the stream, and there are a few things that I did want to get into. They're heavy on the donations, as you can see. COVID-19, how can you help? Help us out, please. We need your money. But as you can see at the top, what matters, right? What matters? Resources, chapters. I didn't go to chapters. Let's see what the current chapters are. So what do we got here? I don't know where anything is, but there you can see. We got Boston. We got a Boston chapter. So they have chapters. If they have chapters, does that not mean they're a clear organization? If they are going out and enacting terroristic acts for the past 3 months, are these not chapters of a terrorist organization? I'm so confused. They, like, unlike Antifa, who claim to be decentralized, Black Lives Matter is a literal organization with leadership that hasn't been denouncing these acts. And if they have, please, somebody give me links to that or show me, like, point me in the right direction. I will head there and I'll check that out for sure. But yeah, within the United States, they got a Boston factor, Boston, Massachusetts, Chicago factor, DC factor, Denver factor, Detroit factor, LA factor, Lansing, Michigan, right? Long Beach, the official Black Lives Matter Memphis chapter, Michigan chapter, Nashville chapter, New York City chapter, Philly chapter, South Bend chapter. Oh, now we're getting into Canada. Toronto chapter. They are pretty fucking radical. The Toronto chapter in, I believe, 2014 banned the police from attending the Pride rally, banned the police from attending Black Lives Matter rallies. And the police just bent the knee, said, yes, okay, yes, of course, why would we ever want to be there to trigger you? We don't want to trigger you. Police are bad. Toronto, Vancouver, Waterloo. It's only three chapters. So this is an international terrorist organization that openly has chapters and is openly on the streets, burning down cities. Back to chapter, how to become a chapter, right? You can become a chapter. Thank you for your interest in becoming an official chapter with Black Lives Matter Global Network, the BLMGN. Official chapters of BLMGN are a part of an intricate network of support, organized to build collective impact to achieve Black liberation around the world. So they do want to expand around the world, not something that you will see as a common theme in this dive. Organized with unique structure that includes shared principles. So it means that you believe what they believe, are included on the BLMGN website. Oh, cool. So you're going to be on the website. All official chapters are affiliated with the BLMGN are required to have the following: a legal identity, i.e. physical sponsorship, completion of the induction process, conversions with current chapters, a grace period. Please complete the initial form below, and a member from the chapter induction team will reach out to schedule an initial call. So you fill this out. You say, why do you want to become a chapter? Do you have any connections to a current affiliated chapter? Are you a legal entity? So, yeah, they're literally like a club. Like they have different chapters you need to be affiliated with. Not that you need to be affiliated with them, but you need to be in good grace with them. And it doesn't say that, but you need to have conversations with current chapters and complete the induction process. What the hell is the induction process? And who is the chapter induction team? That's a question that I have. The only way to know would be to try to become a chapter, and I'd have to infiltrate for that. And I don't know. I think it's a little too late. But yeah, interesting. That is interesting. What matters, right? What matters in 2020? I already have this pulled up, but I'll go to it anyways. How long is this video? It's like a minute long. Oh, I think we'll watch it.
Until Black people are free,
no one is fully free.
Because the issues that affect Black people the most affect everyone.
Can you imagine an America with no police brutality, without mass shooting, gun violence, mass incarceration,
Children in cages,
racist immigration policies,
voter suppression, environmental degradation, racial injustice?
It's time to vote for an America where our lives are valued and protected, where police are held accountable, where we have access to quality health care, where we can thrive in school, where our water is safe to drink. It's time to vote for an America without low wages and low opportunity. Vote for an America without oppression of white supremacy.
Can you imagine an America where oppression and fear are dissolved?
Can you imagine?
Healed. We are the most powerful voters in this country, so we will not be distracted by the noise they make. We are going to choose who leads us, those who truly represent us, and vote out those who don't. Vote you out. We are going to show up and fight for what we need, and vote for what really matters. We are what matters 2020. Text what matters to 24365.
So text what matters to 24635 and tell them just how you feel. But I find that interesting that they pretty much say, like, if the media just shut the fuck up. Couldn't you imagine a world where the media didn't portray everybody as terrible individuals? And yeah, like Spanish Fly said, more than likely a lot of actors there, they were pretty good looking individuals. So I mean, you know, you just got some real people in the mix, because those aren't what the people I've seen out in the streets look like. They're a lot lighter in skin complexion a lot of the time. But yeah, Black Lives Matter, What Matters campaign, 2020 campaign is aimed to maximize the impact of the Black Lives Matter movement by galvanizing BLM supporters and allies to the polls in 2020. They want the U.S. presidential election to build collective power and ensure candidates are held accountable for the issues that systemically and disproportionately impact Black and underserved communities across the nation, i.e., if you ain't vote for Biden, you ain't Black. Pledge to vote, or register to vote, yada yada yada. Yeah, I mean, like they don't push Biden on the page here that I can see, but what they do say is BLM's blah 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 will focus on issues concerning racial injustice, police brutality, criminal justice reform, Black immigration, economic injustice, LGBTQIA plus human rights, environmental injustice, access to health care, access to quality education, and voting rights and suppression. This initiative will inspire and motivate people to ask themselves and their candidates, are you really addressing what matters in 2020? Yeah, so go ahead and ask yourself that. Whatever you want to ask yourself, I think Trump's going to address it a little bit more direct and better than the other candidate. But I could be wrong. And I'd love to hear what you have to think. Yeah, so interesting. It's just, I don't know. They sound like they feel as though they're oppressed. That's okay. They feel that way. If you go to the About section, though, you can go to About Black Lives Matter. They were founded in 2013 as a response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murderer. Black Lives Matter Foundation Incorporated is a global organization in the US, UK, and Canada. I didn't see any UK chapters, though. I don't know. In Canada, those whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes, by combating and countering acts of violence, creating space for Black imagination and innovation, and centering Black joy. We are winning immediate improvements in our lives. First of all, I've never seen them in the UK. They want to be a global, or they say that they're a global organization. So this is a worldwide terrorist organization at this point. Their goal is to eradicate white supremacy. Okay, that's fine. I think they're doing, not them, but I think that white supremacy has been on the decline for a while, and I don't see large factions of it popping up. But I mean, with the way that this organization has been acting lately, there may be individuals who feel emboldened to and pushed away out of a society that deemed them normal individuals before, and now they're all of a sudden being told they're white supremacists, and what other choice would they have if nobody else is going to accept them? And build local power, i.e., more than likely, in my opinion, is to infiltrate local governments in order to enact more power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes. And it depends on how you feel, what you consider the violence being inflicted on Black communities. Like, yes, empower Black communities, try to uplift them, but what do you consider violence being inflicted on them? It's just it's up to interpretation by the state and vigilantes. So, like, who are the vigilantes? Just random people that they interpret as white supremacists. That's the whole problem. Who are the white supremacists? Who are the vigilantes? By combating and counteracting acts of violence, creating space for Black imagination and innovation, and centering Black joy. Don't really know what the fuck they mean by that. They're just like, yep, give Black people the space to create things and be happy. We are winning immediate improvements in our lives. Like, yes, okay, whatever. Let's see what you guys have to say so far. We have a major flaw in our education where people recognize Nazi symbolism as radical and bad, but the Che Guevara shirts at the mall are okay, and socialism, communism doesn't have the same negative connotations. I agree. That's it's because history isn't taught it's not taught well, I guess, or it's forgotten. It's one of those things, right? If you choose to forget the past, you're doomed to repeat it, and that's literally what's happening. Individuals don't care. They history's racist. This is an ideology worthy of being judged by its character, and that's literally the point, right? If you want to live in a world where individuals are judged by the content of their character and not their skin color, then I think that would be a world that we could all get behind. But it doesn't seem to be that. This doesn't seem to be the goal for these individuals, as they are focusing on one race in particular. Correction: BLM is an ideology worthy of being judged by its character alone. Is Black Lives Matter black supremacist? Right? That's an interesting question. Like I said, this will lead me into this segue. I'll give myself a little shameless self-promotion. I saw a comment yesterday saying that you should promote yourself on Parler. Well, guess what? I decided to get a Parler account, and you can follow me if you're on there over at the Open Debate. And I made my first post today, touching on that exact idea. Right? Is not necessarily as Black Lives Matter black supremacy, but the idea of black supremacy and white supremacy in general. So the question that I pose to you all is, how and what will the world be when we live in this world, and how will we fix this? If you have a generation of individuals who have been taught that that racism is literally impossible, you cannot be racist against white or Caucasian individuals. It goes against the idea of what racism even is. So there's no possibility that you can even be racist towards a white person. How are you supposed to convince somebody that a literal public lynching is an act of racism if it was done specifically because the individual was white? At that point, they just don't. The cognitive dissonance is too strong. They've been taught from birth, and their parents, they got a firm grasp on the fact that racism means prejudice plus power equals fucking whatever, their dumb fucking rendition of whatever they want to change definitions to. But I know I consider racism holding yourself in higher regard, or not liking another individual simply because of their race. You can have inherent biases, but to simply disregard individuals, or to feel as though you are better than or they are lesser than simply because of their race, seems to be what racism would mean to me. But could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's pride plus prejudice equals power or some shit. Who fucking knows? Think of why says people are using the word supremacy like they use the word film. It ain't actually true anymore. In general, words are losing their meaning, and that's a thing, right? It's like in 1984, the whole point was to get rid of words, and so that there was no way to express yourself. If words lose meanings, we lose the ability to communicate effectively with each other and express ourselves fully, at least in my opinion. And I think expression and the freedom to be able to express yourself allows for the maximum potential for growth and change and well-being in general. But let's get back into the deep dive. Enough. Once again, if you're over on Parler, go ahead and give me a check out, follow, whatever the hell those things are over there. It's you can check me out at the Open Debate. All right, let's get back into it. We are expansive, so they're moving. We're a collective of liberators who believe in an inclusive and spacious movement. We also believe that in order to win and bring as many people with us along the way, we must move beyond the narrow nationalism that is all too prevalent in Black communities. We must ensure we are building a movement that brings us all to the front. Which means that they're not only going to, I haven't read this, but I guarantee that means they're not just going to focus on Black communities. They're also going to focus on any marginalized group or anything like that. But not white people, and nothing to do with capitalism. Fuck it, all that shit. Fuck you, pretty much. We affirm the lives of Black, queer, oh wow, it's right there. We affirm the lives of Black, queer, and trans folk, disabled folk, undocumented folk, folk with records, women, and all Black lives along the gender spectrum. Our network centers those who have been marginalized within Black liberation movements. It's like this movement isn't about helping people, it's about helping specific people. And that's the problem. I think that's like as simple as I can put it. It's not about helping people, it's about helping specific people. And that's what I have a problem with. We are working for a world where Black lives are no longer systemically targeted for demise. The world they live in, eh? They live in some fucking crazy-ass world. We affirm our humanity, our contributions to the society, and our resilience in the face of deadly oppression. The call for Black Lives to Matter is a rallying cry for all Black lives striving for liberation. You know, if this was like they're talking about Black lives in Libya being like put into slavery and shit, I would get behind you. But they're talking about Black lives in Chicago that are out in the streets, half burning down stuff, half saying, "What the fuck are you doing? This is where I live. Why are you destroying my literal home?" I don't think that that's the whole thing. Black people in general, you can't just lump into one category, and that's what they're trying to do here. But there are people that don't agree. I'm Black right now. I don't fucking agree. Fuck you, Black Lives Matter. You ain't taking over my city. Oh, they are trying to. They got their old chapters. Let's keep it going. So we just looked at about Black Lives Matter. We're going to go to what we believe, right? And it's right here in what we believe that we find one of the most incriminating pieces of this entire journey that we're going to take. I've seen this before, and I don't know, we'll get into it. 4 years ago, what is now known as the Black Lives Matter Global Network began to organize or started as a chapter-based, member-led organization whose mission was to build local power and to intervene when violence was inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes. We read that, right? So they want to enact or gain global power, or not global, well, perhaps global power, but they're telling us they want to build local power. In the years since, we've committed to struggling together and to imagining and creating a world free of anti-Blackness, where every Black person has the social, economic, and political power to thrive. It's a system called capitalism, actually. Maybe I'm wrong once again. I'm always down for that debate. Black Lives Matter became as a call to action as a response to state-sanctioned violence and anti-Black racism. Our intentions for the very beginning was to connect Black people from all over the world who have shared desires for justice to act together in their communities. The impetus for the commitment was and still is the rampant and deliberate violence inflicted on us by the state. So their ideology is that Black people are oppressed everywhere in the world, no matter where you go. There's nowhere that the system isn't taking Black people, and the government is literally just trying to kill you wherever you go. There's no safe space, and they're trying to just fix that. I guess that's their goal. It's how they feel. That's what their idea of the world is a little bit different than how other people see the world. Enraged by the death of Trayvon Martin and the subsequent acquittal of his killer, George Zimmerman, and inspired by the 31-day takeover of the Florida state capitol by Power U and the Dream Defenders, we took to the streets. A year later, we set out together on the Black Lives Matter Freedom Ride to Ferguson in search of justice for Mike Brown and all those who have been torn apart by state-sanctioned violence and anti-Black racism. Forever changed, we returned home and began building the infrastructure for the Black Lives Matter Global Network, which, even in its infancy, has become a political home for many. So this is a political movement. Like, don't get that wrong. This is right here in the about section in what we believe. They literally just said the Black Lives Matter Global Network, which even has in its infancy, has become a political home for many. Okay, so this is a political movement that's based on one race, based on bettering one race, focusing on the betterment of one race. And, you know, they say that the world that they live in, they say that this one race is targeted more. But that's really not the whole point. That's not what I have a problem with. The point is that I have a problem with them segregating individuals and creating a system that favors one over the other. This should be, you know, if you can just create a system that doesn't, you know, you can't discriminate against anyone, then you can't discriminate against Black people either. And it's going to be just as mad. What do we got to say there? Rocky Desert Flower says it's against Black men and Black fathers and wants bureaucracy to raise your children instead of yourself, aka the government. This is essentially slavery to the government. We'll get into that in just a little bit here. Convincing people they're victims who need your help is trapping them in a degenerative reality, according to the Dalai Lama. I don't think a lot of these individuals, I'm pretty sure the Dalai Lama was even called racist or something like that. Like, it's just one of those things. In today's society, they don't care. They don't care about intellectual conversations or like deep dives into philosophical ideas. Like, they only have their one idea, and I'm creating a straw man, right? I'm just talking about no one. I'm talking about just in general. They're individuals who just simply see what they want to see and don't move beyond that, aren't willing to expand any further. And because they're so firm in their convictions, I said that I was firm in my convictions earlier, but I'm open-minded. I'm willing to see what other people have to say. But I mean, I'm willing to change my mind if you can present facts and open up my mind to something else. But that's what I'm saying. A lot of individuals aren't, and you need to be open-minded in order to have those types of discussions, or like even create a new system of living. I don't understand that it's called authoritarianism or fascism if you have one ideology and nothing else is allowed to happen. This is something I can't know because I'm white in a brown town. What % of black people support Black Lives Matter? Most of the interviews I've seen of old black people is them saying, hell no, get out. Something you can't know, you're white in a brown town. If you have a large population of brown people around, you could see who seems to be supporting it and who doesn't. Doesn't really matter what color you are, where you are. You can see there seems to be a divide between people who are vocally loud and people who are silent. So I'd say the vocal minority and the silent majority. And that's just seems to be the way life usually goes. But let's continue with this because there's a lot more interesting things in here. Ferguson helped to catalyze a movement, which we all have to give. Let's see this. Yeah. Ferguson helped to catalyze a movement of which we've all helped give life. Organizers who called this network home have ousted anti-black politicians, won critical legislation to benefit black lives, and changed the terms of the debate on blackness around the world. Like, I don't know why they keep saying around the world. I don't think Black Lives Matter has a global impact. Maybe because they do have an impact in the United Kingdom, but like they're like, we have a global impact. Like, I don't think Black Lives Matter. Go and open a chapter in Iran. I don't think they really care about what you have to say. Through movement and relationship building, we have also helped catalyze other movements and shifted culture with an eye towards the dangerous impact of anti-blackness. Okay, anti-blackness this, anti-blackness this. We want to change that. We want to change that. Black Lives Matter global network is powerful and is as powerful as it is because of our membership, our partners, our supporters, our staff, and you. Our continued commitment to liberation for all black people means we are continuing to work of our ancestors and fighting collective freedom because of our duty. So the Black Lives Matter global network is as powerful as it is because of our membership, partners, supporters, and our staff, but not their ideology. They're not as big as they are because people agree with them. They've just been promoted. Every day we recommit to healing ourselves and each other and to co-creating alongside comrades, allies, and family in a family culture where each person feels seen, heard, and supported. Okay, so this is where we start getting into some weird stuff. Every day we recommit to healing ourselves and each other because they're broken, and to co-creating alongside comrades, allies, and family. And a culture where each person feels seen, heard, and supported. We acknowledge, respect, and celebrate differences and commonalities. We work vigorously for freedom and justice for black people, and by extension, all people. So because they're working for black people, they say by extension, all people. But they can't just say that we work vigorously for freedom and justice for all people, because they have to specifically center out black people. We intentionally build and nurture a beloved community that is bonded together through a beautiful struggle that is restorative, not depleting, right? So they're like, we are nurturing a beloved community. We're building a community. We are unapologetically black in our positioning. In affirming that Black Lives Matter, we don't need to qualify our position. To love and desire freedom and justice for ourselves is a prerequisite for wanting the same for others. No. Like, well, I don't understand this. To love and desire freedom and justice for ourselves is a prerequisite for wanting the same desire. You could say this about white supremacists. They want to love and desire. They have the love and desire for freedom and justice for themselves, but they don't for, well, depends on who they are. But if they were a racist white supremacist, then they wouldn't for others. So that doesn't, it's not a prerequisite for wanting the same for others at all, in my opinion. We see ourselves as part of the global Black family. We are aware of the different ways we are impacted or privileged as Black people who exist in different parts of the world. So they're saying that they're part of a global Black family, and they're aware that people are impacted in different ways. We are impacted or privileged as Black people who have existed in different parts of the world. So what they're saying, essentially, in my opinion, is that, like, if you were an African Black individual and you come to America, you haven't experienced the same amount, the same type of oppression that they have. So you should, like, take your place in the fucking organization. But I could be reading between the lines there, and that could just be my that could just be me. We are guided by the fact that all Black lives matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status or location. So if you don't accept all that, then you're out. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. We are self-reflexive. We are self-reflexive and do work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift Black trans folk, especially Black trans women, who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. So even if you're a Black trans man, you're not going to be propped up as much as a Black trans woman. Literally, they say, if you're a cisgendered privileged individual, they are going to try to dismantle your cisgender privilege and uplift trans folk. But it's especially if you're a Black trans woman, they supersede even the Black trans man. Like, do you guys see anything wrong with this ideology? It's a little interesting to me. We build a space that affirms Black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. See, I was fine with them until, like, if they said we build a space that affirms women and is free from sexism and misogyny. And why do you need to build an environment environments in which men are centered? I'm just kind of confused. Are centered? I don't know. I don't even know what they're talking about. We practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn and connect with their contexts. This is the part that people have the most problem with, and I wanted to really get into. And I initially came here earlier today to the website to see if this was real, if this was actually part of the website, or if it was just something that somebody had said and I had gotten taken for a ride and it wasn't true. Okay, and so right here, as you can see, we're on the Black Lives Matter website looking at what they believe in, and it clearly says right here on the page, we make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private as they participate in public works. Right underneath, We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as an extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. So, well, I'll continue. We foster a queer affirming network where we gather. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather the belief that all in this world are heterosexual unless he or they disclose otherwise. We cultivate an integrational and communal network free from ageism. We believe that people, regardless of age, show up with the capacity to lead and learn. We embody and practice justice, liberation, and peace in our engagements with one another. So it doesn't matter if you're 6 or 65. You can lead their movement because they don't care about age. But this is the main thing: they disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other. It's okay. If they just said that we support each other as an extended family and villages, you wouldn't think too much of it. But because they actively say that they're trying to disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family by supporting each other in extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, but collectively care, especially for our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. So basically what they're saying is that, like, it's a communal living type thing. They are all looking to do this, right? And it's like single moms, fatherless families. It's like it's one of those situations where I think that's one of the biggest problems that people have with this whole mission statement that they have going on. And at the end, like it, share it. It's like it, no, don't like it, but I'm still sharing it right now. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think about that. So I'm gonna look here in the chat real quick. Spanish Fly says, I'm going to start an organization called Puppies Are Cute and cause chaos all over the globe, right? That's literally what they seem to be doing. They also would renown them for self-care and revolutionary social change. Britain outlawed it before America. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Just a bad penny. Till Jonathan Yaniv puts on a wig and wants the rights to the restroom with your preteen daughter, right? That's the world that they're looking for, and you gotta have things, right? You gotta have I don't know. This is making you sound mental, making me sound mental. I mean, these aren't my beliefs. I'm just letting you know what they got going on there. But yeah. Thought we'd go into a little deep dive of what was being said on the actual website themselves and just take a quick look at the site. It's just blacklivesmatter.com. You can go there anytime you'd like and check it out if you would like to do that for yourself. Yeah, I don't know. It's just another day, another stream talking about what's going on around the United States and in popular culture. I guess it's not super much. It's not really pop culture. It's political culture. Yeah, interesting. Let me know what you guys have to say. If you, once again, shameless self-promotion, if you want to help support the channel, always share. You can like, subscribe to the channel, do all those fun things. Check me out on Parler at the Open Debate. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for coming out, everybody. It's always great to see you here in the chat. And with that being said, my name's Elder. If you don't know, be your own hero, kids.